Dennis Schroder to the Sacramento Kings is official. We know all the details in the sign and trade with the Detroit Pistons. Plus, training camp has begun for Summer League, and now the focus turns to the backup point guard position. We'll discuss it all right here on Locked On Kings.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily Sacramento Kings podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. Time for another episode of Locked On Kings.
Hello and welcome into Locked On Kings, your podcast hub for Sacramento Kings coverage all offseason long. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. My name is Matt George. I have the privilege of being your host here. I'm a Sacramento sports anchor and reporter for ABC 10 News. And no more speculating, no more wondering, what is this trade going to look like with Detroit? Is it somehow going to become a three-team trade for Jonathan Kuminga? Is Malik Monk a King? Is he not? We now know all the details. Malik Monk is still in Sacramento. The Detroit and Dennis Schroder signing has nothing to do with the Kings' pursuit of Jonathan Kuminga. Schroder is on his way to Sacramento, if he's not here already, as the new starting point guard of the Kings. And again, later on in the show, we're going to talk a lot about the backup point guard position, because that's now a major topic of conversation in Sacramento. They do still have a way that they could acquire another point guard in free agency if they want to. I'll explain that as part of the Schroder deal. But also, they have Devin Carter. Could Nick Clifford potentially be someone to be considered for that backup point guard spot? Lots to talk about on this episode of Locked On Kings. Let's get to the details of this Dennis Schroder sign and trade. So the Kings get Schroder. They signed him on a 3-year deal, the third year being reportedly partially guaranteed. That's important because a partial guarantee means like you can waive him at any time, only pay him a certain amount of the contract, not for a full year. If the Kings do want to move on from Schroder a year or two down the line, it makes it easier to do so. If the Kings are going maybe in a different rebuilding direction, or if they decide to start moving off of some of their contracts in the future, they can do that. Detroit will get part of the Kevin Huerter trade player exception, or a TPE. So the Kings acquired a trade player exception when they made the deal with the Chicago Bulls that sent Kevin Huerter to Chicago. A trade player exception basically it allows for money that you can use to absorb contracts in trades. So what did the Pistons get? They didn't get an actual player, but they got more contractual flexibility. The Pistons can now go out and make another trade and use that 15-ish million trade player exception to bring in a bigger contract if they so choose. The Kings will also get a second round pick as part of this sign and trade. So that's what essentially the Kings are getting from Detroit to help give them this trade player exception and this contract flexibility. They will get the least favorable second round pick of the Bucks, Knicks, and Pistons in 2029. So the Pistons own all three of those second round picks. Whichever one is the worst one, that's the one that the Sacramento Kings get. Now, the Kings are also sending a second round pick to Detroit as part of this deal, but this is important because you might go, then what's the point? What did the Kings really gain from this? The Kings are sending the Hornets 2026 second round pick, so next year's second round pick that they acquired from Charlotte, but it is 31 to 55 protected. So unless the Kings are literally a top 5 team in the NBA, which they're not going to be next season, they will keep this pick. So there's a chance, but it's a very, very low chance that they'll be sending a second round pick to Detroit. More than likely, they will not be sending a second round pick, and this is just more of a minor note in this entire conversation. Here's the big thing, though, about this sign and trade for the Sacramento Kings, in addition to, of course, acquiring Dennis Schroder. The Kings now retain their mid-level exception which if you don't know what a mid-level exception it's around 14 million. I don't know the exact number. I want to say like 14.2, 14.3. A mid-level exception essentially allows you to go and sign a player up to that 14.3 or whatever it is million dollars per year and go over the salary cap in order to do it, right? So the Kings essentially now have 14 or so million dollars. They only have 2 or 3 million worth of cap space, but they have 14 or so million dollars to go out and shop and find another piece. Is it Russell Westbrook? I don't know. I haven't heard anything more on Russell Westbrook. Do they prioritize another point guard? Do they just see what's available in the market a little bit later on? They have the ability now to make another move this summer in free agency. Now, don't expect it to be a high profile move, to be like Russell Westbrook would probably be the highest profile that it gets for Sacramento. Again, I still don't know if they're going to do that. I do know that there is still interest in Sacramento for Russell Westbrook, and Russ still has a lot of interest in coming to Sacramento. So maybe this is just the path to get that done eventually. But I haven't heard any indication of that. I'm just speculating. I'm not reporting here. But the Kings now have a chunk of change to go out and add another free agent if they want to, which more than likely they will want to. So the Kings summer or off season and free agency period is not done now that they've been able to retain this mid-level exception. So now the attention turns to the backup point guard position. It's funny because Schroder is now the starting point guard for the Kings. And I know some of you might roll your eyes at that and go, man, I don't know. Should he even be the starting point guard? Is he a starting point guard in this league? Like, if you have those reservations, I don't blame you. I actually think that, and I've shared this before, I think the Kings fans are going to become like fans and are going to actually really like Dennis Schroder. He plays hard. He plays scrappy. He plays fast paced, gets up and down the floor very, very quickly. Like, I like Dennis Schroder. Now, he's not a phenomenal player. He's not coming over to Sacramento to be a game changer. In many ways, you've heard the term like stopgap point guard. That's what he is. He's holding down the position until Scott Perry can either trade for or draft or find a better, more long-term option at that spot. De'Aaron Fox is gone. They don't have a star at that position to hold it down anymore. We didn't have to worry about the point guard position for 5, 6, 7 years because De'Aaron Fox was here. Now we got to worry about it again. And no, Schroder is not looked at here in Sacramento by this front office as the guy that's going to be the point guard of a future championship team in Sacramento, unless the Kings drastically hit the accelerator button and something really, really works out. We're talking miracle status at that point. He's holding down the position. But in the meantime, he's going to play the way that Doug Christie and Scott Perry want to play. And he's going to play with, I think, a fire and an energy and a scrappiness that Kings fans are going to respond to, especially inside of the Golden One Center. So I'm not overly excited for Dennis Schroder to be a King, but I'm excited about it. I'm excited to watch him play. I'm eager to see what he can do and what he can bring here to Sacramento. Again, realistic expectations, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm willing to give it a chance. But the backup point guard position. Now you look at this roster and go, okay, Dennis Schroder can't play 48 minutes. Who's holding that down? Is it going to be by committee again? Is it Malik Monk, right? Monk is still on this roster. There's a good chance that Monk will remain on this roster based off of just what his market is right now. And I think a lot of people have had problems with, like, myself and other media members and people talking about Malik Monk's market as if it was a negative on Monk specifically. Look at the market around the NBA right now, period. Look at it, period. Right? Look at the market for Jonathan Kuminga. Look at the market for these restricted free agents. Cam Whitmore just got traded, but only for 2 second-round picks. Right? The market right now is brutal, period. So it's not a negative reflection on Malik Monk. It's just the market right now is not good. Malik is part of that. So there's a very good chance Malik will still be here. Does that mean Malik is holding down the backup point guard responsibilities? We know coming off the bench, Malik did a lot of the primary ball handling behind De'Aaron Fox. So, hey, it could work. Maybe that's his spot. I think everybody looks at Devin Carter. Goes, you drafted him. He's small. He's the right size for the point guard position. Well, Devin's never really been a point guard. but could he learn that position? Could he hold that down for the Sacramento Kings? That's a big question mark. I have been told that there are some within the Sacramento Kings organization that actually think Nick Clifford is the guy. That think Nick Clifford will come in and hold that backup point guard position down, or at the very least will compete for it as early as his rookie season. Right. There are some people inside that Kings front office that think Nick Clifford is the answer, is the solution to the backup point guard position. Yes, he's a 2-3. Yes, he's primarily going to play on the wing, but he can hold down the backup point guard position when Dennis Schroder is not on the floor. I haven't seen it. I talked to his head coach at Colorado State, Ali Farokhmanesh, about him playing the point guard position, and Coach Ali had a lot of really, really great things to say about how Neek grew as a point guard and developed into a secondary ball option or ball handling option for Colorado State. So it's at least not new to him, but it's intriguing. It's interesting. Well, both Nick Clifford and Devin Carter are currently in training camp for the Summer League. The Kings open up their Summer League on Thursday in Las Vegas. And I have audio for you. Yesterday, they spoke with members of the media after day one, both Devin and Neek. I'm going to play with you their comments and what they had to say, react to some of them. That's all coming here in just a second. Before that, though, want to let you know that today's episode of the Locked On Kings podcast is brought to you by FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high stakes soccer action, did you see Team USA versus Mexico the other night? FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game with your friends and or you can get in on your game rather, while your friends are getting sunburned on the beach and doing other dumb summer activities. You can use FanDuel to track your favorite matchups. The app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions, new fun ways to bet and to play. It's easy to use. Payouts are fast and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether you're placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet right into the ninth inning of an important baseball game, FanDuel makes it feel like you are part of the action. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. So a lot of us are looking at this Summer League roster and are very intrigued about the rookies, right? How does Nick Clifford look? How does the big man, Maxime Reynaud, look? I think there's a lot of excitement around that. There's also excitement around some of the other, like the two-way guys on this roster. We know two-way spots for sure have been secured. Dylan Cardwell, which is the big man out of Auburn. This is the guy that, like Scott Perry, when he was in New York, he went out and got Mitchell Robinson, and we know how important Mitchell Robinson is just as an enforcer and a rebounder and a rim protector at the center position. That's what Dylan Cardwell reminds me of here in Sacramento. Again, he's a two-way guy, so you have to be realistic, but he's a guy that is super athletic, a really, really good defender, considered to be one of the top defenders in college basketball, right? Like just hard-nosed, physical, can jump out of the gym. I'm really excited to see him play, and I like the opportunity that the Kings are giving him, and I think it's really, really good use of a two-way spot, so we'll keep our eye on him. But then there's Isaiah Stevens, who, speaking of the point guard position, Isaiah Stevens was undrafted in the 2024 draft and then spent his time in Miami Heat's system, primarily as a G League player. He averaged 12.8 points and 9.3 assists per game in the G League, as well as a handful of rebounds. He had 306 assists, which was most in the G League last season. And even more cool about Isaiah Stevens, he played with Nick Clifford at Colorado State. So there's some familiarity between the two. So we'll get to see those two also as part of the Summer League option. Or roster and for this team. But looking at this roster, like my eyes go to Devin Carter. I'm thinking, man, I'm so curious. Like, what does he look like? How much better has he gotten after a handful of months of offseason to put in work. This is his first real offseason. He didn't get to play in Summer League last year. He didn't get a training camp. So how much better does Devin Carter look? And Devin Carter is going to be handling the primary responsibilities as the point guard for this team. In fact, Devin Carter is looked at on this roster as the guy. That's how he should. He should be the leader of the Summer League roster. He has an opportunity to take this team by the reins and say, I'm the dude. I was a first-round pick last year. I was the lottery pick last year. Like, I'm not going to be selfish, but I'm the dude. I'm the main guy on this team. That's what we're looking for from Devin Carter. I'm very curious about it. And Devin Carter spoke with members of the Sacramento media at opening day of Summer League training camp last year. Or, yesterday.
Everybody kind of getting to know each other, figure out everybody's games. Obviously played with a few guys last year. Debris went to Providence, so, just good seeing him again. Just played against a few of the other guys in G League also, so we're looking pretty good though.
Not having this experience last year, just what are you looking to hopefully accomplish?
Honestly, just working on my game against live competition. Summertime you really just get in the gym. You don't really have a lot of opportunity to get quality like 5-on-5 runs too much. So just looking for the opportunity to play against other great people. So.
How much of an opportunity is this to kind of just showcase like how you've grown in the past year, given kind of the way things went last season?
It's a big opportunity, like you said, I missed Summer League last year, missed the first 30 games, missed a lot of practices. So, it was just a rough first year, I guess you could say, injury standpoint and just availability standpoint. But, I'm definitely looking forward to it. So.
It can be tough, Devin, like as a young guy, to hear your name in like trade talks and stuff. How are, your name's been out there. How are you processing like all of that?
Like I said, I've told you guys this before. My pop's played for 13 years. He's been traded a lot. I just talked to him, just how he handles it. And, that's kind of going to stay between us, just what me and my pops be talking about. But, I just come in to work every day. Obviously thankful for the opportunity to be here. Show up with the ready-to-work mentality all the time. And, it is what it is. It's a business.
You talked about missing a significant amount of time last year, obviously, with the injury, recovering from surgery. How much would you say that you feel you have something to prove or a chip on your shoulder as you get this opportunity here at Summer?
Yeah, obviously being the main first-round draft pick last year, just having this opportunity to go out here, lead the team this season, this Summer League, and, the G League, we came off of Stockton champs, so, we have a lot of confidence rolling in over from that.
What do they tell you? Playing point guard, shooting guard, or whatever?
Whatever they need me to do. Yeah, whatever they need me to do.
When you hear people talk about, even them themselves, and even pretty public, were saying how the need for a point guard, how does that kind of sit with you as somebody who's on this roster?
One more time. What was the last part? I heard the first part.
Yeah, just how does that kind of resonate with you as somebody who's on this roster?
At the end of the day, everybody has an opinion. I really just focus on myself and what I do, my strengths, my weaknesses, try to fix my weaknesses. But, like I said, just learning, watching film. I never played point guard in my life, so just coming into the NBA trying to learn how to play point guard. But like I said, dealing with injuries, missing significant time, I think this is a good opportunity for me, Summer League, to work on playing point guard. And obviously this summer I've been working on point guard reps, point guard reads, just getting the team under control and stuff like that. So, I feel like I've progressed a lot, and hopefully I can showcase that next week in Vegas.
Is it drastically different from what you feel you bring to the table?
Nah, I could handle the ball. It's just I've never been put in a position like in college or high school to be the designated point guard. I've always been like a combo guard. I can play off ball, but I can play on ball too. It was really more so just reads with me and constructing the team, getting us into what we need to do. I think that was more like the biggest, what I need to work on.
You kind of more guys.
How do you feel physically? Coming into camp.
I feel great. Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, I'm good.
Are you kind of the primary ball handler right now in practice? And I guess if that's the last question, in terms of your game and your growth in the last year, what do you feel like you've demonstrated already, and where do you feel like you've made strides and maybe haven't had a chance to show yet?
I feel like during practice right now I'm the designated ball handler. Just to get, like I said, getting the team into what we want to run. Today we didn't really have plays yet because it was the first day, so we really just want to get up and down, get the first day jitters out and stuff. But, I feel like I've worked on a lot of stuff this summer. I'm just ready to showcase it next week.
Few things from Carter there that I want to comment on. One, I like his approach. I mean, he answered those questions, especially about being involved in trade talks as a pro, talked about the relationship that he has with his dad and working through that. That's a really solid system to have. I like that he pointed himself out as the leader, right? He looks at himself as the one that has to lead this summer league squad. That's good. That's what we want. But he did say, I wonder if you caught it. He said, I never played point guard in my life, like before coming to the NBA. Man, the National Basketball Association, the highest level of basketball, is not exactly the best place to learn a position, especially one as important as the point guard position. So that gives me a little bit of pause. It makes me a little bit skeptical about his ability with the main squad next season to handle the backup point guard spot. But hey, we'll get a glimpse. We'll get to see what it looks like, at least in Summer League here over the next week or two. Then Kings Sacramento media got to speak with Nick Clifford after his first day of training camp. And there's one thing that Nick points out a couple of times that might slide under the radar for you, but it really stood out to me and it made me excited. I'll point it out to you after you hear Nick's comments with the media.
It was a really good first day. Felt like we competed hard, played together. And I was on the black team, so we were winning, so I can't be mad about it. But good first day. Everybody was happy to be here and just excited to get to work.
Do you know everyone's name yet?
Yeah, I've learned everybody's name. It's a lot of new faces, but excited to play with all the new guys and get to learn their games.
Who was on your squad?
Devin. Who else? There was a lot. It was 5 of us, but I'm not gonna go over it right now.
But you know everybody.
Yeah, I know everybody.
Anybody impress you most out there?
Honestly, we were winning. I think our team impressed me the most. We were just playing together and just having fun. So I thought it was a good first day.
What's kind of the messaging that the staff's been giving you of what they want to see from you and just the early steps in this process?
Just playing the game the right way, making a winning impact. I'd say defending, rebounding, doing the things I was doing in college, and just making easy plays, keeping the game simple. So that's kind of what I'm coming in here to do, and have done that since college. So I want to carry that over.
What kind of welcome sight is it to see Isaiah Stewart there?
Stevens? Yeah. It's all good. There's a lot of names, bro. It's really cool, full circle. We're playing together again. I've known him since high school. Him and David Roddy kind of recruited me. They were my hosts on my visit out of high school. Then played a year with him. So it's been full circle, and it's super cool to be here with him together. That was my guy in college, my last year before last. So super cool and glad that he's here.
What did you see from like Devin today in terms of being, kind of a primary ball handler, playmaker?
No, Devin's high level, man. He can score the ball, plays the right way, and he's going to be really good for us. I'm excited to play with him. He's also a Colorado dude that I've known for a while, so glad to be teammates with him now.
I imagine you've seen your share of Summer League over the years growing up in this game and waiting for your opportunity. How exciting is it or whatever? What are you feeling now as you get ready to head to Vegas and participate?
Yeah, man, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to just compete against the best of the best. The environment, atmosphere is just going to be crazy. All the NBA, GMs, organizations, everyone's going to be there. So it's just a cool environment, like I said, to just be a part of and go against the best every night. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Is there anything you do where we all talk about how your game translates to the next level, we've asked you, but is there anything that you might even have curiosity about in terms of, how it translates and kind of, at the NBA level for you?
Yeah, I mean, you really don't know what you don't know until it actually happens. So, I probably won't know that until my first official NBA game, because Summer League, you're still playing against a lot of college dudes who maybe I was playing last year, or dudes who's been in the league maybe 2 or 3 years. But when you play the real, vets who's been in it for 10, 15 years, it might be a little different because they know a lot more than you probably know. So I probably won't know that until my first official game. But, I'm excited to start that journey and get to meet all my teammates and just learn from those guys because they've been through it.
Getting a little bit more acclimated around here. was at the San Francisco A's game.
We ain't got to talk about that.
I'm not
we
gonna
can
talk
leave.
about
We can
that
leave the
part.
pitch to the side. Yeah, we're gonna erase
I'm gonna
those
leave that to the
files.
side, but I'm just saying as far as getting back on the surroundings. Though.
Yeah, I'm starting to figure my way around here. I figured out how to get to the locker room, so that's always a good first step. Trying to find a place to live, so I'm settling down a little bit and getting more comfortable. But everybody's been super welcoming and helping me out.
I'd imagine you've had a lot of like practice reps in general with it, but is there any adjustment when you're coming out here and it's like NBA line that you're consistently working with now?
Yeah, and I've talked about that. Like it's farther than college, so obviously it's a little adjustment. But naturally, I'll shoot that shot in college, just shooting deep. So like I'm used to shooting it, but it's still an adjustment being consistent from that. And I know that's something that I need to continue to work on and get better at.
Did you catch it? A couple of times there at the beginning, Neek pointed out that he was on the winning team in training camp that day. He was on the black team. He was on the black team with Devin Carter, apparently. And that team won a lot. I actually am excited about that because that's what it was top of his mind. That was what Neek Clifford was most excited to share or was thinking about. We won today. Neek Clifford is driven by winning. And I'm sure so many of those players, even on the current Kings roster, of course, are driven by winning. But for those to be unprompted, the first things out of Neek's mouth, like, we won, we were on the winning team, I was on the winning team. And it doesn't come off as a bragging way. It's just that those are his motivations. That stood out to me. That makes me excited, even more excited about Neek Clifford. So Summer League training camp continues today, tomorrow, and they leave for their first game against the Orlando Magic on Thursday in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, I will not be going to Summer League this year. I'm bummed out about it, but it is what it is. I'm not going to be able to make it out there, but do have a number of Sacramento media members that are heading out there. I'm going to have some of them on the show so they can share with us. We'll watch these guys play over the television, and some of you, if you're heading out to Las Vegas for Summer League, have a fantastic time. Stay cool. I'll be watching the games from TV at home and covering them for ABC 10. Of course, talking about them here on Locked On Kings, but I'll have some of our Sacramento friends that are down in Las Vegas. They'll join me on the show to share what they're witnessing firsthand about this Kings Summer League squad. Appreciate your support as always. You want to share your thoughts on the Dennis Schroder signing, the sign and trade details. I haven't heard anything more on Jonathan Kuminga. Nothing. There's been nothing new on the Kuminga sweepstakes. It's kind of the same situation. Kings have their offer out there. Warriors are looking for other options or pursuing other options. We don't know. Nothing's changed. It's just where we're at. So we'll see if anything changes or gives or anything in that sense. But that's where we're at right now on the Jonathan Kuminga sweepstakes. But if you want to weigh in on that still too, whatever you want to talk about, hit me up on Twitter at MattGeorgeSack. Email me, mattgeorgesports@gmail.com, or leave your thoughts in the YouTube comment section down below. Appreciate your support. Can't wait to have you join me on the next episode of Locked On Kings. Until then, my name is Matt George. You've been listening to the Locked On Kings podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.